What is going on, y'all? Welcome to, hold on. Test. What is going on, y'all? Welcome to Joel Friday TV. I am Joel Friday. A few announcements before we get started. Hit that like button, smack it. Lay the smack down, the like, subscribe, and share button. Tell your peoples about the show so we get the subscribers up and the message out. Do it now. Help a brother out. As you guys know, we are a talk show and we are live Monday through Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And at any point during the show, you can call in at 888-775-3773, 888-775-3773, and we could talk about whatever you want. About this, about that, about her, about him, them, she, they, us. We can get into it. So you can't call in. If for whatever reason you can't call in, but you still have a question or comment, or you just want to support the show, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV. Link is in the YouTube description, or go directly to the YouTube live chat, hit the super chat button, send your question or comments there. I'll read them live on air. Amazing stuff. Let's get into it. We are live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Punchy.tv. Pick your poison wherever you want to watch. We're live across all those platforms. And guess what? Hop into the chat box, and show some love. Show some love. Show some love. Have a little conversation. Get the chat moving. Get the chat going. Right? So we can get the message out. Right on. Shout out to the folks. Shout out to the mods on YouTube. Shout out to my mods and shout out to the people over on the IG chat as well and Facebook and all the other stuff. Amazing stuff. Let's get into it. First off, thank you guys yesterday for the birthday wishes and today for the birthday wishes. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Super chats that came in, birthday wishes. I enjoyed my day. It was great. And I'm grateful that you guys are showing me love like that. I appreciate it. So thank you. And shout out to Terry Strange. She started off with the happy birthday early in the morning, early in the AM. And I appreciate it. So right on, Terry. And right on to everybody else who wished me a happy birthday. Nice. So what are we talking about today? That's a great question. We are going to get into it. I got some stuff. You know, I was in the office this morning. And Derek, the new producer, new Jesse Lee Peterson's new producer, Derek, asked me at random, good question. And at random, he was just like, and this like, for the most part, what he said, right? He's like, are you still passionate about dance? And I had to think, right? I had to stop and think. And it was such like a interesting question. And it shaped my show. So shout out to Derek being a producer, not only for JLP, but producer for JFTV as well. He asked me, are you still passionate about dance? So I want to talk a little bit about that. And then maybe we'll get into some other things. Maybe take some calls. I have some super chats that I must read. So we'll get to that as well, but I just want to make a few points about passion. Because the world teaches us and tells us to have passion, right? Be passionate. What are you passionate about? Find it and go full force. Make sure you're passionate. If you're not passionate, what's wrong with you? That's what the world tells you, right? You got to have passion. Passion is the answer. You got to have passion. That's what the world teaches us. From birth, they teach us. And the schools train us and direct us in the pathway of passion. Everything about passion, everything about passion. And it sounds so good and it sounds so right. It sounds like it makes sense, right? You know what I mean? It sounds like that's something you should have. Be passionate about it, right? And when I think about passion for me and what that has been, I want to give you guys a couple of examples, just to kind of paint the picture of the point I'm trying to make here. Is growing up, I was really, really, really good at baseball, like really good. And the reason I was, and I played since I was really little. I told this story briefly before, but I played since I was really little. I played with my cousins, but I started like at 4. But I was really good at it. And the reason why I was so good at it, though, I realized in my adulthood, is because I was not passionate about it. I was not passionate about baseball at all. I played football too, growing up. But baseball, I was just really good at it. But it was because I was so good because I was not passionate about it. It was always just fun for me. And as a matter of fact, the coaches used to tell, forgive me if I've mentioned this before, but for the people who haven't heard it, the coaches used to tell my mom, like, he's so good with baseball, like, you should put him in training camps. You should make him take this serious because he can really be something, really take it professionally. And my mom was like, no, he doesn't want to do it. He wants to dance, right? That was the thing I always said. And the coaches were like, you know, all these kids, all these other kids around here, they, you know, we have them in extra training sports and they're playing baseball year round and your son is just playing seasonal, but yet he's better than the other kids. And I never saw it that way, and I never even thought of myself that way because I didn't care about baseball at all. It was just fun. I didn't care about who was better. I didn't care about none of that stuff. It was just fun for me. But because I didn't care is why I was so good. But I always just wanted to dance. My passion was dance. That was my passion since I was like 3. I don't even remember. But dance, I've wrestled with that with it for a very long time. And dance has never worked in my favor, ever. And I did it professionally. I was signed, did the industry stuff, did the tours, did the backup dancing. We talked about it the other day. But it never worked out the way I wanted it to work, ever. It never worked in my favor. And I realized because I was passionate about dance. I was passionate about it. Like, it was like important to me. I wanted to make it work. I wanted to pursue it. I wanted to be professional. I wanted to make it my career. I wanted to make money from it. I wanted to tour. You know what I mean? I wanted to change the game. I wanted to do all these things. I was very passionate about dance. And none of that ever worked in my favor. And what passion is to me is just like an emotional type of investment in something. Like this emotional ties to it. And what everybody knows, or maybe they don't know, but they know to some extent, especially if you're an adult, that emotions always let you down. They don't have your back. They don't support you. They don't care about you. Emotions always let you down because they build you up to let you down. That's what emotions do. They come and go. They change, right? And my emotions were always attached to dance. So when I was teaching, I was always like trying to make, I don't know, just getting caught up into it. And that's because of passion. That's exactly because of passion. Relationships. They never have worked out. And some came across here and there that were good, were decent, good relationships. But what ruined them? Passion. You know what I mean? Like trying to stay all feeling good, trying to stay in love, trying to make it work, trying to change the other person, trying to get something from them. Passion. And it always let me down. So passion is not a good thing. There's a version of being good at what you do and working on what you do. There's a version of that, but it has nothing to do with passion, right? You just do what's in front of you. Say if you have a job that you do that uses your natural ability, right? Your natural talent, your natural gifts. You just do that job and then that's it. You don't think twice about it. And if it doesn't last forever, then you move on to the next thing. And I use that perfect example as, when I do this podcast here, when I do this podcast, it's just fun for me. I enjoy doing it. But when I leave the podcast studio, I don't think about it. I do not think about the podcast. I don't think about, like, how could we? I don't think about it like that. Now, if something comes up in the moment where I'm like, oh, that'd be cool to improve the podcast in that way, boom, then it just pops up like that. But I don't sit around at all, zero, trying to figure out how to improve the podcast. Because I like that it's just fun. And mind you, the reason why it's fun is because I never wanted to do a podcast. And I don't want it to sound like I'm not grateful. I'm very grateful. But I never even wanted to do the podcast. Matter of fact, the first time that it was offered to me to do one, I was just like, I don't think I'm interested. Because I didn't really there was no passion there. There was no passion there. But one day I just saw that it just made sense to do it, right? I just saw that it made sense. And I was like, oh, wow, this is kind of fun. I filled in for Hake one time. And then when I filled in for Hake, I was like, wow, this is cool. This is fun. And then boom, it was led in that way. But there was no passion to it. And there's still no passion to it. And I'm grateful for that because of that is why I can come on here and just have fun and not stress out or be scared or have fear or not be myself because it's not important to me. And that's what passion does. It makes things important. So I think the point I'm trying to make here is that we want things work the best when we're not attached to them, right? When they're just things that we do in life, but not who we are, right? Because podcast, singer, dancer, baseball player, whatever it is, these aren't who we are. These are just things that we do. And sometimes they don't last forever. Sometimes they are just meant to last for a short period of time. But these are just things that we do. And when we just learn to take it or leave it and not make them important and just enjoy them, when we really learn to do that, is when the actual success and money and whatever comes, right? Is when we're free to actually grow in it. Because we're not putting all this false and weird pressure on it. You know what I mean? Am I making sense here? And you stress less about it. You don't stress about it. There's no stress, there's no worries. It's just kind of happening. And that's the best way to go. So when Derek asked me, do I have passion about the thing? I told him, you know what? I had to step away from the whole dance thing because it stopped being fun for me. And I'd rather it just be a thing that is fun for me and I can just enjoy doing. And that stopped being the case because I was trying to make, you know. So if it ain't fun, step away for a second and get your mind right and put things in perspective, because we should be enjoying our gifts that are given to us by God. You know what I mean? And I absolutely loved playing baseball for fun. And that's why it was working out so well. So, passion, just pay attention to it. Just watch it and watch it for yourself and see what passion, how it's helping you or how it's benefiting you or not. See it for yourself. So, that's what I wanted to say about that. But speaking of baseball really quick, and then I'm going to get some calls and some super chats. I was online and I seen this video of this baseball guy, and then he was like catching a ball, and I kind of saw somebody familiar in the background. I'm gonna just play it. Like, I thought I saw in the background C-Sal. Is that C-Sal? I think I saw C-Sal in the background. I think that's C-Sal. I could be wrong, but that looked like that might be C-Sal. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, how do I even explain it? C-Sal is a supporter of the organization here, Bond, and all the network shows. She's always showing love, and she's been around for a long time. And she's in the chat, YouTube chat, and all that stuff across the board. And there's this ongoing joke. I guess it's an inside joke. It's hard to explain, but she's just a follower of Bond. And I think that was her on the screen there. Let's just show the folks one more time. That's her with the Burger King hat. Is that C-Sal? Is that C-Sal right there? Look, I think that might be C-Sal. It looked just like her. That is hilarious. I don't even know if she's in the chat today. But C-Sal just got doxxed. Or her look. Anyway, let me get to some calls. Before I get to a call, let me get to the super chat real quick. Callers, hey, hold on 1 second. You can call in 888-775-3773. They're all callers. I mean, they're all lines that are still open, so you can get in there. Get in there quick before the lines fill up. 888-775-3773. That's so funny. Let me do this super chat. Ha ha ha. Bear with me. Terry Strange with the super chat. Thank you, Terry. Sends a heart right back at you, Terry. Heart you too. Appreciate it. CG with 10 donuts on Buy Me a Coffee. I mean, C-Sal seen the message. Is that you, C-Sal? Is that you? Tell us the truth. It looked just like you. Where's your kids and where's your husband at? I didn't see him. I just seen you in the Burger King hat. And it didn't even look like you were all there. Were you okay? CG bought 10 donuts and says, not sure how this donut thing works. Wishing you a blessed and beautiful birthday, Joel. You are amazing. Wow, CG. I appreciate it. CG is usually in the Instagram chat, always supporting and watching the show. And she's consistent. So we appreciate CG over here. Thank you, CG. I appreciate that. The birthday went well, and I appreciate your support and donation. Right on. You the woman. Shout out, CG. Cool stuff. Let me check the other ones. T-South said, bruh, I'm too Mexican for a baseball game. That was the Dodgers. No, it wasn't the Dodgers. Let's find out here. Okay. Los Doyers, says Hake. Okay, let's go to JC out of Little Rock, Arkansas. JC, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hello, Joel. I didn't know it was your birthday. Is it today or was it
yesterday? Yesterday.
Happy belated, sir. How old are you?
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm in my 30s.
I'll be 31 next month. So
nice. The 30 crew.
I'll send you a gift sometime next week and stuff. I didn't know it was your birthday. I was a little pissed at you that you didn't let me talk to Mark the other day. I didn't listen to your show at all yesterday.
You had to take a break.
I know you was protecting Mark. You didn't want him to finally let me be able to speak to him.
I just don't think it was gonna be a normal conversation because you guys would have been triggering each other and nobody would have been making any points. So I didn't want to do it like that.
I was going to ask him what made him become a racist. What made him hate black people. I was going to ask just a civil question. Nothing wrong with that. But,
fair enough. I'll ask him next time I talk to him.
You cracked me up just now with that C-Sal. Why you do that to C-Sal? Oh God, no, C-Sal. I'll say this. C-Sal has just a very cool voice, like her speaking voice and stuff.
Oh yeah.
She and I have called off air. I do love her speaking voice, so I'll say that about Mr. C-Sal. But
right on.
Okay, about today's topic, about passions and everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's very interesting that you also say that, and I don't know if it's just like us being in our 30s, we're having new passions, new journeys and everything, but like I recently took up a new job as like a social media manager, and that's not necessarily what I wanted to do because I got my degree in musical theater, but I'm not necessarily saying I lost the passion for like performing and wanting to be on stage or anything, but it's definitely in a sabbatical period.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Okay, so for me, it's like it's not always fun for me performing. It's not always fun as like I love singing, I love acting, I even love dancing. But it's just I felt like I wasn't making the audience happy when I'm performing lately these last couple of years, and so I was like, if I'm not making the audience happy and something that I'm also happy doing, then I'm going to take the break. I understand like losing the passion and having to find something anew. I do get that.
What do you think so what's your opinion when I say that passion is not good, you should not have passion? What do you think about that?
Well, specifically for you, it saddens me because like you say you don't necessarily like to dance anymore, and like, but that's how a lot of people know you, even in your theme song and things like that. Like you're the dancer, and I don't know if you lost your passion because you don't have your dance studio anymore. But I hate to tell you.
No, go ahead. Finish your point. Sorry,
I was going to say I hate giving you advice. because you are a bond member. But, the gospel song says we fall down, but we get back up again. And I think you do have enough talent to one day go back into dancing if you choose to and everything.
Well,
Even though go ahead.
No, just because I want to get this point in is that I love to dance, and I still do it. But the thing is that I'm trying to get away from the false attachment to it, the false importance of it, because it's that very importance of it is why I wasn't truly enjoying it like I once did. And it's not that the passion was falling away, is that I had passion. And that's the problem, because that's the thing about passion. And maybe you could relate to us is that passion is emotion. And when the emotions come and go. So the reason why you say, in my opinion, that you fall out of the passion for it, which is I felt the same way, is that the emotion just died out. The energy to continue to do something that has been driven by emotion is just dying out. And it has nothing to do with you not being good anymore or me not being good. I'll speak for myself, me not being good anymore or me not being able to do it. But it's just that this false importance that I had for it is just dying out. And I still do it, and I still love to do it. And on my own time, like, I do my thing, but I prefer to look at it as a hobby and let the hobby do whatever it's meant to do, opposed to as a profession. Because when you put it that way, it puts way too much importance on it, if that makes sense.
Well, see, I don't mind it being a profession. I don't ever want to have to retire from something that I enjoy and stuff. For me, it used to be performing and singing and things like all of that.
Yeah.
It never was work for me. It was just living my dream or whatever.
Yeah.
So I do get that. But I also have to ask you, and I'm not going to keep you long today, but you tend to see the world differently and seeing that passion and emotions are wrong, right? That's what they teach y'all up there.
Well, I don't think that. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just saying that it doesn't benefit you like people think it does. I think that's not what we should pursue. We shouldn't pursue passion. We should pursue, for one, God first, because God will lead us to the true things that actually bring joy and the real stuff that bring joy and peace.
But you're passionate about God. You're passionate about God, I would assume.
But the times that I've been passionate about God is when I was Bible thumping, and that's what passion does. It makes it too much. So that's why there should be no passion about anything. You shouldn't even be passionate about God. God shouldn't even be too important, because then you're gonna take His word and abuse it and use it against the people.
Hold on, because I was about to say, I get very passionate and emotional. You say God should be too important. What do you mean by that?
Perfect example. Yeah, if you get attached or emotional, you want to be aware of that, because what that does is that puts you in the dark. It blinds you. It doesn't allow you to see clear on the proper steps to take. And if God is too important, like for example, God was too important for me in my life plenty of times. And when He was, I was going around using the Bible to beat people up with, or Bible thumping and trying to change people and correct people. And all that was doing was pushing people away and making people turned off to Christianity and the truth. And that's what passion got me. So that's why I don't think that it's a good thing.
Well, I do got to say, God is important over everything, over my mother, father, any oxygen, anything that I say, anything that comes in my life. God is over all of that and more important than anything. So I need that to be pointed out that I'm saying that and stuff, because you sort of startled me when you said God's not too important.
But do you think so? You think that you should be passionate about God?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why
absolutely.
though? Why though? Why should you?
God is the creator. God is the Father. God is the King of Kings. And you can call me a Bible thumper on that all you want to.
Yeah.
Anything.
JC, you there?
Hello?
We lost you for a second.
Hello?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was getting passionate and emotional. I'm starting to move around. My no, God is everything. God is everything. The air that we breathe, our oxygen, our water, our success, any blessings that we have, God is that. Our financial things, whatever it is, God is there. So, no, I'm always going to be passionate about God. I'm always going to stand up for God and everything.
Do you think that let me ask you, do you think that the most important thing that we can have is faith?
Yeah.
Faith in
having
him.
Faith, having belief, having.
Right. Let me just start right there, though. Faith and belief, right?
Yeah. But even above that, it's having faith in God. But when we have God in general, that is the greatest thing anybody can have. Any source, from the plants, from anything. I know I might sound like a hippie or whatever, but
I agree.
Single thing, God is the most important.
Right. And I agree with you on that. And the point I'm trying to make is that, but in order to realize that, you first have to believe in him, right? You first have to have faith in him, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And faith, how do you have passion with faith? How do you add passion to faith? How do you add passion to belief? How does that even?
By celebrating that cross, by celebrating how he sent his son to die for us. That's how you have passion. By you celebrating, by you trying to live right.
But that's
do everything.
And I totally understand what you mean by that. But when I say a faith, when I say,
don't get me wrong, I falter too, because
of
we
course,
have these conversations. It's taking everything in me to not go to the Snake Pit chat and stuff to see what they're saying about me today, especially your best friend Benny. Taking everything, but I'm staying close to God.
Yeah.
God is leading me to just talk to you, to listen to you,
and that's good, and that shows that that you're watching those desires and urges, and you're trying to pay attention, that's an amazing thing, and I commend you for that. And when I say, when I speak on faith, and when I say faith in God, that's, to me, I more so mean knowing he exists, knowing he's real, and knowing what he's done for you in your life. But a knowing doesn't need an emotional response. A knowing doesn't need any passion or emotion. It's just a knowing. There's no emotion in knowing he's there. So if God just wants us to know that we know him. So he's not asking us to, right, but he's not asking us to, now we got to go be happy and excited and all that. He's not asking. He's just asking for us to know him. And
let me
go ahead.
Do with this one. You say there's no emotion. Think about those times when you've had those hard days, Joel, and you don't have to get into it, but think about those times when you've had those hard days.
Yeah.
You say there's no emotion that we need to put with God. Think about those young children that you have helped to impact, and you say we shouldn't put any emotion. Think about how your uncle introduced you to Bond, how you feel about your Bond team and stuff, your mother, all of these people, and you say there should be no emotion when it comes to God. I have to disagree. I'm just pointing out the blessings in your life that I've seen.
Well, when those things happen, those weren't emotional moments. Those were just the insight from God, seeing that those were a great thing. Those were a good thing. But not only that, those were moments of just appreciation. And I think where the divide is, but I think where the divide is that I have that we're having here is that there's two versions, in my opinion, of like these feelings that people think. Like there's the emotional version, which is like an imitation of love, and like happiness is an
No,
imitation
not
of
an
joy. I
imitation.
know, but let me just make the point and then you can tell me what you think.
Like,
Like happiness is like a version of joy. And I won't say imitation, I'll say version. So happiness is a version of joy. Excitement is a version of, I don't know, something. A version of love. And these are all like, you know, versions of the real thing. And the real thing is insight, the light of God, right? And the light of God has no emotion. It's more so what you see to be true. And the light does have the fruits of the spirit, like joy and peace and love, right? Those things are the true quote unquote emotions, which they're not emotions, that people are really seeking out, but they're just accepting the ones that feel good and easier to access, like being excited about something, or like I don't know, saying that you're so happy. But don't you realize that in your life, those things, those very things, happiness and excitement, they come and go, they fade, they don't last.
yeah, I do realize that. That's the thing. Like, that's why I'm glad for God and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
even just thinking about His glory right now, I'm becoming emotional. I don't know how you are and stuff. Just thinking about God and stuff. I know you got to
Yeah.
go, so there's like two things I want to say. I want to ask you the other day, because you did press on when Jenny called. You was like, okay, well, what about this hatred that others might have for you and stuff?
Yeah.
I want to give you your kudos for doing that. And then
Yeah.
my second thing is, like, when did you accept the Lord Jesus Christ as your Savior?
When did I accept the Lord Jesus Christ as my Savior?
And if you haven't, do you need like guidance and doing so?
No, what I don't like. I understand what you mean by that, but I don't think it was ever as like a place of me accepting God. Like my entire life, I've always felt like God is with me, and I always felt that He was there. And it's
Yeah,
been a
amen.
gradual process for me my entire life. But to relate to your point that you're trying to say is that when I was 21, that's when I really started realizing, like, okay, I need to make a change in my life. But it was never like, I'm accepting God as my Lord and Savior. Here we go. Like it wasn't like that, because that's also a teaching of the world that I don't like. It just seems a little bit dramatic to me. I think God is always there, and He's always been there with people, and we
Hmm.
just learn to recognize it more. But I never had to accept Him as my Lord and Savior, or the baptism changed my life. I've never had those experiences.
Because
This
I
is just,
definitely was going to ask, are you baptized?
yeah, but those things that didn't draw me closer to God. Those are like nice like outward expressions, sure, but like what draw me to God was me working on myself, and me having faith, and me just learning and growing in the process, but not like these accepting as Lord and Savior and baptism. Those weren't pivotal moments for me.
Well, I think there's still time for that and everything. I appreciate you
Yeah.
saying this.
Yeah.
I'm also, I don't like when we have these connecting conversations, you and I and stuff, because I'm supposed to come in as the enemy, as the adversary. As
Why?
a shout out to my friend from LA who will call himself the adversary on Did Show the other day. Shout out to Frederick, but
Uh,
because I don't, I'm not a fan of the Bond team. Like, I'm not a fan of that,
would you?
but it's weirder when you and I talk, because there is so much more of a connection that makes me have to like reflect on things, reflect on how mean I am
Yeah.
towards people who attack me and stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's, I mean, even the same with take and stuff. We don't like each other, but I used to enjoy talking with James. And
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
But no, it's just, it's weird and stuff because I do actually very much enjoy these conversations where there is growth and there's maturity, and so it's weird for me.
No, and I appreciate the conversations too. Like I don't mind them at all. And like I said before, beforehand, I never knew any of the problems that were happening with you and the other host. So I know nothing about that or even the reasons why they had blocked you. Maybe it was for legitimate reasons. Who knows? But when you,
it was legitimate.
Okay, well that's fair, and I trust
legitimate.
them, and I trust the other guys at their discretion. But when you came onto my show, that just wasn't the conversations where I had to worry in that way, and that hasn't been the case. And I enjoy talking to you, but I will say too as well is that I'm also listening to the things you say, and I don't just brush them off as you're just this person that shouldn't be listened to because you're the enemy. I don't see it like that. I definitely listen to things you say too. But one thing I want to say, and this is just my opinion, I could be wrong, is I totally understand what you mean by the emotional thing and the passion thing. I totally get that. But there is another reality or another, I guess, level of
perspective
of life. Yeah, we'll say perspective of life that is far more and far greater, in my opinion, than the emotions of excitement and happiness and anger. All these things. There's a freer way to live, and I get glimpses of that, and that's what I try to speak on my show and explain it. But it's hard to explain when somebody maybe doesn't see that perspective or hasn't experienced it. But I just want to say that does exist. And I wouldn't want you to, it's up to you, but I wouldn't want you to close your mind at the idea that there is something that's even greater than these emotions that we've been taught to have. So just something to think about, JC, and I appreciate the call.
Thank you, Joel. And be careful of some of these callers and stuff. Like I say, you may not see skin color, but others do.
Fair enough.
Careful out there.
Fair enough.
All right, let me let you hang up.
All right. Thank you, JC. Call me again, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
All right. Nice. Right on. You know, like I said, I enjoy the conversation, and I think we have to be careful about the way we say certain things, because in other people's minds, from other people's perspective, right? Like even myself, like I'm watching as I'm speaking to JC, is that even me saying stuff like emotions is the false way, and the real way is this. You got to really kind of, watch how you say certain things, because when you believe into something, you believe it wholeheartedly, and it's not that it's wrong, right? And people have the right to believe those things. And the point is, I think that the language is important in a sense, because he has the right to believe that emotions and excitement and happiness are of God and all this stuff. He has a right to believe that. And I see it differently. I see it as something different. But at one point in my life, I did believe into the passion thing and emotion thing. But it wasn't until, God started showing me that there's more out there. There's more to life. And it's everlasting. It doesn't come and go. It's everlasting. And when I get a glimpse of that, and I'm like, okay, this is where it's at. But it was a growing process, right? And when I was believing into the passion and all that stuff, it wasn't that I was wrong. That was just where I was at in life. So, yeah, it's not wrong to be believing in that stuff, but You just don't want to identify with it because there's so much more. There's so much more to life than emotion, like excitement and happiness, and there's peace, love, and joy. The real deal. I can't help it. That doesn't come and go. But you want to just let people just live how they want to live. That's how they see it, and they believe that to be true, and that's fine. And it doesn't have to be no wrong or right way. It's just kind of life. I don't know. Whatever. But I appreciate the conversation. Jennifer says, happy birthday, Joel. I owe you a coffee. Have a great day. Appreciate it, Jennifer. I appreciate that. Thank you. Right on. Let me see. Let me check the super chats here. Joel passionate about his little show now, and there's nothing wrong with that. Oh, and that's the last point I was gonna make about that too, is that like you really can't try to explain it or convince anybody either. You really can't explain like God's love or peace or joy. You really can't explain it. So you really don't want to get caught up in arguing. And I find myself trying to do that too. I find myself trying to like explain it perfectly enough that it just like resonates and clicks. And that's just not reality. You know what I mean? You could say it once, one time and a half with somebody, and that's it. Hang it up, right? Because once you start to arguing, it's not going anywhere anyway because they're just not seeing it. You can't make nobody see. So you just got to let them have it. But you can throw it out there and be like, hey, there's another way of a better way of living, peace, love, and joy, right? And it has nothing to do with emotions, right? And they say, no, I don't think that's true. I was like, well, that's my opinion. I think that exists, and I don't believe in the emotion thing. Well, I don't think I don't like that idea. I don't think you're telling the truth. Hang it up there. As hard as it may be. And I may hop up on the air and do it again. But you let it go because they don't see it. But the seed was planted. You know what I mean? You can't explain the things of God to those who aren't ready to hear it. That's the point. And some people are ready, but it's just not time to hear it either. So that's the case too. But anyway, I'm done. I'm done with that. I think we beat that one up. Let me check the super chats here. Ha ha ha. And I had something else I wanted to tell you guys really quick too, off subject, but that's okay. We could, let's switch it up a little bit. I don't know if you guys seen Mr. Rogan, Mr. Joe Rogan. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy, Joe. Joe Rogan, at the absolutely wrong time, wanting to throw a shot at Donald Trump. Come on, Joe. Out of nowhere. And then I'm going to end. I just want to make this quick little point. Come on, Joe. He didn't outwardly like say, I'm not voting for Donald Trump. He's not the best choice. But he kind of like subliminally did that. And he endorsed Kennedy. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. or something like that. He endorsed that guy. And then he made comments like, oh, I think that he doesn't attack people. He just listens to people. Like basically like throwing a jab at Trump. And then I was thinking like, man, how at this crucial time in our country, in the world in general, but in the country, when we have a Joe Biden, we have a Kamala, and we have these people, and we have the left who are not helping. And you have one man in there that you may not be your favorite guy or your best choice, but he's the best you got. And you use your platform, the biggest podcast in the world, mind you. Joe Rogan's podcast is the biggest podcast in the world. Everybody and their mama listen to Joe Rogan's podcast. And at this important time, you couldn't just keep your mouth shut? Because he didn't say he was going to vote. He just said he endorses the Kennedy guy. Kennedy ain't running right now. Kennedy ain't in the race. And he ain't going to win. So to me, it was kind of nasty for Joe Rogan to do that, to say that. Like real, like, I don't trust you type vibe. Because you could have just kept your mouth shut and just waited till after the election. But he knew, it makes me believe that he knew his platform, he knew his reach. And what that tells me is that he rather be with the left. And Joe Rogan's supposed to be based, I thought. But he's not a Christian. We know that. We know that he's not a Christian. But I was just like, man, Joe, that is just like low. That's low. That was pretty low. So, I don't know. It made me kind of look at him a little bit different. I have a clip for it. I'll play it real quick. And then I'm going to end the show. But I was a little mad at Joe. Not like mad. You know what I mean? But I was, come on, Joe. This is from the Joe Rogan Experience. This is his podcast. He explains who he endorses for president. Here we go.
They do it on the left. They do it on the right. They gaslight you. They manipulate you. They promote narratives. And the only one who's not doing that is Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
You a fan?
Yeah, I am a fan. Yeah, he's the only one that makes sense to me. He's the only one that he doesn't attack people. He attacks actions and ideas. But he's...
he doesn't attack people. That's a shot at Trump.
He's much more reasonable and intelligent.
Joe acting like the other Joe. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not a smart move, man. It's not a smart move. And that's how we know that we don't want to put too much trust into anybody in general, but that some of these celebrities, these star celebrities, they just got money and status. And I'm not saying Joe don't ever say some pretty smart things or he's not like a type of guy, but that was like, he should apologize for that. Literally. Like, apologize to Trump on air. Have Trump on the show and apologize because it's unnecessary. It's not smart. Anyway, I gotta end. Say no to Joe. Go home, Joe. Mind your business. And then Trump tweeted back to him. I don't have time to play that. But Trump tweeted back to him and said, I wonder if, I'm paraphrasing, I wonder if when Joe Rogan goes into the UFC, will they boo him? They're going to boo him. Because the UFC loves Trump. Dana White, founder, loves Trump. So they might boo Joe. Joe might get booed out that thing. Ivana says Joel wants to arrest Joe Rogan's parents. Arrest Joe Rogan's parents. Arrest Joe. Arrest him. Arrest him. That was a crime. He committed a crime right there. He committed a crime, hate crime against the country. Nah, I'm playing. All right, guys, I got to end. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm not here tomorrow. No Joel Friday TV on Friday. Go figure. But American Anchor Baby is in at 4 p.m. Make sure you guys tune in. Don't forget, also Monday, Punchy TV has a new episode releasing at 2 p.m. You don't want to miss that. Go hit the bell, like, subscribe. Amazing stuff. Also, The Fallen State tomorrow at 12 p.m. Pacific time. You don't want to miss that. New episode coming out. You guys don't want to miss that. So make sure you tune into The Fallen State tomorrow. JLP radio show in the morning at 6 to 9 a.m. Great show. The Hake Report. Great show, 9 to 11 a.m. And then the rest. American Anchor Baby at 4 p.m. All right, guys. Till next time. I'll see you on Monday if the Lord is willing. I gotta go. Bye.